Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is the return, and I'm so happy that it's returning. Video game music review, years in the making. I wanted to talk about this particular game. I wanted to talk about the music behind it. I don't think you need any introduction if you've seen the title of this video or audio video. Grand Theft Auto 5, the music, the score, and how it's evolved from the original concept of Grand Theft Auto to now, and my own personal take on whether or not it should be even a 6 to begin with. I know they are making it, but how can you actually top what I consider to be the equilibrium of all the Grand Theft Auto games, even those in the PSP? I really don't know how they're going to pull this off, but the idea of video game music reviews is not much to talk about the game itself. Yes, the game will be talked about, the game pretty much in a brief tone on how the game have pretty much revolutionized. I will get a little bit brief into that, but the game music is the main theme of this. This is me talking about the music that make the game as special as it is, and in terms of the G.T.A series, it is no exception. The funny thing about it is that I have done pretty much almost all, with the exception of probably the Liberty City stories, and as well as my Vice City stories for the PSP. I may get around to it, I may not. I pretty much might even talk about the Chinatown Wars, which my personal least favorite next to GTA 2. But GTA 5 is a unique character within itself. Because for one, it is the 5th installment of the game and probably the most loved, highly criticized, one of the most expensive games to make, and it made its money back 10 times fold. But the music they choose to go with it, let's be realistic here. Just off the bat, the music alone tops all of the Grand Theft Autos, in my opinion, bar none. Not for the music that they choose, because let's be honest, the music itself speaks for itself. Whether you're a classic fan of old school rap or just a music fan in general, the feel of that California sound, or in this case Los Santos, really does resonate well with the music they have chosen for the radio. And let me explain this. One of the best things that the Grand Theft Auto series has done is had a soundtrack of collection of beautiful music, not to mention commentary that was done throughout the Grand Theft Auto series, starting with 3 and continue on with 5. One thing you always got to appreciate from that point forward is the music itself. What separates Grand Theft Auto 5, what separates this particular property, this particular game from all the other, is not as much as the music they choose to listen to the radio and buy as a soundtrack on your favorite music store or pretty much upload in nearby apps, but the score. This is the only one, the only true one, that actually took liberty of giving Grand Theft Auto an actual score, a score that actually feels it belongs in a Grand Theft Auto series. Now, don't get me wrong, there has been theme scores, key word here, theme scores, that is recognizable. The Dark March from the Liberty City series was actually one of the best classics. If you play Liberty City Story, the Dark March is recognizable. You can actually even hear it on YouTube through the Grand Theft Auto 3, the nice mellow sound. You also have the Vice City games. You also have pretty much the Russian connection with Grand Theft Auto 4. These are all great sounds that belongs in Grand Theft Auto. However, they're not the main premises of the story. What I mean main premises is that it doesn't follow the characters. It doesn't have that cinematic feel other than the opening title. When you do your missions, it's pretty much quiet. There is no music when they do the interactions, the cut scenes. There is no music when you go on your mission. This completely changed when you play Grand Theft Auto 5. That's one of the things I absolutely love with Grand Theft Auto 5. The music here is so unbelievable. The score is so magical that you forget that you're playing Grand Theft Auto, the game, and actually feel like you're watching a cinematic film, the experience is totally different. Now, for some, and I heard some of you guys argue this before, that it probably takes you out of it because one of the next thing is that there's no music to distract you with. It's just you, the mission, and what you do to achieve that mission. And that's fine. Like I said, it didn't bother me when it hadn't had no score with the Grand Theft Auto 3, Liberty City stories. It didn't bother me with all the other series that I played after that. I can agree with that. And like I said before, this probably would have been a distraction or out of place if the sound didn't match the feel and what was going on while playing this game. I can safely say that not only did it have found a way to match what is going on, it pretty much belongs in Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 score is fantastic. My two favorite ones are We Were Set Up and Businessman. Two very distinguished Grand Theft Auto themes, as well as the beginning opener leading up to the events of Grand Theft Auto 5, the prelogue. I actually think those match perfectly well with what you're going through, what you're doing, and how it gives you a more better experience. Let me explain something about video game music as well as movie music scores in general. Their main job is to enhance the experience of what is going on right in front of you, whether it's the gaming experience or even the movie experience. You can easily tell when the music match what is going on right in front of you. It sticks out like a sore thumb. When a bad score is presented, you can easily tell, and it can become a distraction. A prime example of this is actually a movie that is actually well received, including me. I actually like this movie. And I'm only saying this briefly because it's something that everybody have even talked about. Night of the Living Dead. Good movie, terrible score. Why? The score don't match the actual feeling of what's going on in front of the screen. It is distracting. It is out of place. It feels like you're supposed to be watching a Dracula film, but you're not watching Dracula or Frankenstein or any of those classic horrors. You're watching a modern day, at least at that time, a modern day flesh-eating zombie film. And you never once felt this store belongs there. And then you have Grand Theft Auto, which has the feel of what's happening in front of you. From the missions, from the music capturing the very essence of what Los Santos is. You generally feel that you are on the West Coast playing this game. Besides the fact the game is well done in terms of doing 3 stories, pretty much, not at the same time, but playing 3 different characters moving on the story. The fact that this is an open sandbox right from the gate. You can go to any parts of Los Santos right off the gate. There's no limitation. To the fact that it's well scripted. To the fact that it's well told in story. To the fact you have characters that is fascinating and have their own unique arcs. Own unique feel to it. This is pretty much the best Grand Theft Auto, bar none. There's simply just so much good in this game. Now keep in mind, I'm only speaking about the game itself, not the online content, not everything else going on. If you guys want to add your feel to what the online experience is, that's fine. I am referring to just the game and the story mode itself. And this deserves a lot of credit for what they've done. So my question is why I'm worried about Grand Theft Auto 6, you may ask? Because how can you match what they have done with 5? On the one hand, they have take their time. It's not a 3-year thing. It's not a they haven't came out for 4 years. This game came out on the PS3 lifespan. Was remastered in PS4, along with some of the extensions they have had, but most of them are online. So technically speaking, from now and here, it's going to be 6 to 7 long years since we have seen a Grand Theft Auto. And my worry is, can they actually match what they have done with Grand Theft Auto 5? Can they actually give us that same feel? Not just in game, but in sound quality. I'm not too worried about the selection of music. I think depending on what city they're going to go, a lot of people are saying different things. I just want to wait and see the actual announcement before I actually make my own decision. But the score in general, will there even be a score? Will they go back to the old basics? How would this actually match? Because to be honest with you, I don't think you can go any further than what they got from here. They could only go down from here. I could be wrong. They could actually surprise me. But Grand Theft Auto to me is a perfect game for a lot of reasons. One of them happens to be not only for the great story, the great voice acting, the great gameplay that they have. You're not going to get bored with this game. There's hours upon hours of gameplay. And not only for the fact, the simple fact is, there is this game will never age the way it looks and feels. But the music is just pretty much makes this game a perfect game. It's one of the reasons why this game, in many places where it's hard to get a 10 out of 10, has gotten 10 out of 10s or even A pluses from places that really are very critical of getting A pluses. There's a reason for this. And despite the controversy, which, let's be realistic, Grand Theft Auto is always going to be filled with controversy because it's an unapologetic game. And you can even make a case that it shouldn't be rated M for mature. And I would not argue with this. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact of the rating being blacklisted and basically been shoved to the side to the point where not even gaming council won't even carry games that with that rating, it probably would have gotten an AO rating. It may have been AO at one point in the PC version, because PC is a little different than the consoles, because many people still believe consoles are all meant for children, and I scratch my head considering that the PS consoles and the Xbox consoles were never really meant with children in mind. They were targeted for older audiences. Nintendo I can understand, because Nintendo will never back away from catering towards the young audience. That's fine. But to me, there's no denying whether you're critical of this game or not. One cannot deny the perfection that this game has been developed, and the hard-working dedication publishers who have done it. When there's something good like this, you have to give it credit for what it is a great perfecting game. And one of the reasons why it gets up there as well, besides the great gameplay and extra content they have, is the fact the music matches perfectly. I have really, there's nothing else to say, especially for those who play the game. You know what I'm talking about. This is one of my favorites, if not the favorite GTA ever. And my only hope is just make me a good GTA 6. I'm not expecting miracles. What's your opinion? I'd like to hear what you have to say. I'd like to hear what you have to say about the game. Do you even have the score? I got a couple of the sounds that I uploaded from various music stores. What's your opinion of it? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Until next time, and yes, there will be a next time, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I talk to you soon.